Hey,
You there?
how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Oi,
Can you
oi.
hear me all right?
I didn't know if that was UK or that was
Nah, that was me. That was me.
Wait, you there? You there, Adam?
I'm here, man. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can y'all hear each other? Like, is it all like?
Yep.
Okay, all right, we good. I'm glad. Oh man, I'm like freaking glad that we able to add them in here, man. Cause I was telling Adam that like when we tried to get the Clancy in here, it wasn't like we couldn't like get him in the call in the group or whatever. But like that's why I test called you in the earlier, Adam. Like I was trying to like make sure it was like working, man. But like yeah, all right, we can hear
Get
you now.
all the technical issues out of the way. Can you
Yeah.
can you can you hear my fan? I've got this big like industrial fan on in the background. We've got like this heat wave going on in London at the moment, so we're sort of sitting here just dying in the heat. So it's like it literally sounds like I've got like an airplane sort of engine in the background. It's all right, yeah?
Nah, I can't hear it at all. Can you hear the
Oh,
Gil?
sweet.
Yeah, it's like it sounds like a helicopter propelling. Crazy. Nah, it's good. You good.
I can't hear it. Yeah, I was like, I mean, you don't gotta turn it off for us, man. I know it's probably like hot over there, but like it's like scorching over there, like in London.
It's like crazy hot. And I was like yes, because I've been working away this week actually. I was in like the north of the country, and I came home last night, and I got on the train or like the underground in London, and man, it was just like everyone's just dripping on each other and pressed up against the glass, and it was like it was some. Do you know what I mean? It was just a horrific situation to be in. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah. I'm not going to be doing that again. It's cabs for me from now on. But I think like next week it's going to go back to normal. But it's a British thing, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to complain all week that we're too hot, and then next week when it starts raining, we're going to start complaining about the rain as well, because that's our right, as British people, we get to complain about everything. So
This is the week when you all this is the week when you all like lay out in the grass like in your undergarments and shit, right?
yeah, basically. So next week I'm going to be walking around looking like a lobster, and then it will go slightly tanned for like a day, and then I'll start peeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
The weather.
Yeah.
Hey, Kel, have you been over to London, Kel? Have you traveled to like the UK?
Man, I wanted to go. Stephanie's actually there right now.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, my partner, my wife, she's over there right now, and I was supposed to meet her there, and we just ended up like shuffling our plans around, like travel plans. And anyway, I'm not there now.
What's she doing over here?
Man, you put me on the spot because when she listens to this episode, she's gonna be like, "You don't even know what the fuck I do from the job." It's like a running
She's gonna
thing.
go in on you.
It's like a running thing, kind of a joke for us, but it's kind of like not always funny.
Cause cause I think did we talk about it before? Like I can't remember if we like. If I put it out one of the podcasts, we like talked about like what exactly she did, because I think you tried to explain like exactly what it is, but it's like always like okay.
No, I mean I know. I just have to like concentrate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta like focus to get on it. But like she's there for like the London Summit right now, which is so you know what that is.
No idea.
Okay, I mean.
Absolutely not. Never.
That's the it's man. See, I'm about to start making some shit up.
Some like you about to like
we might have to like smooth this one out in post. I don't know, man. You might have to like.
It's important.
All that I'm hearing is that your wife is a spy and you don't want to out her on the internet. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah, we'll leave it. She's a spy. We'll leave for those purposes. She's like an international traveling spy on some like jackal type.
She's covert right now.
Yeah, yeah. She's like over there looking for Adam. We like set him up.
Yeah, it's all laughs now. Like I'd say about 2 weeks from now, you probably won't. You have a different tone from me on the podcast. But like, actually, my wife does this. I'll have a like. The story set because she's not gonna laugh about it. Like,
oh man, yeah. So I was telling Adam because I remember we talked. I talked to both of y'all, but I was like, I think Adam's like older than me, and I was saying like you know, I knew you were older than me, but I didn't know you were like the exact, like almost the same age as like my as Kel. He's like y'all like in the same age.
How old are you, Cal?
I'll be 35 in September.
Yeah, see.
Okay, so you're the same age as me, yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so we can talk about our old man problems.
Yeah, I was like,
sit there and listen in and, you know, get excited about what's to come in the next 10 years for him, right?
Damn, that is toddler compared to you two. Like, I feel like
Hey, I think Malik is like he's probably like going to be on a straight and narrow just because of people like us. Like he actually listens and he learns from our mistakes. You know, he's not one of those people that like when you give him advice and he's like, "Oh, you old as shit. You don't know what you're talking about." Like Malik like will sit and listen, and then like, you know, already at his current age, he's like not half as fucked up as I was. So
I'm trying, I guess. I'm like,
wise beyond your years.
Huh?
Wise beyond your years.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
whereas I'm the exact opposite. I get like sort of less intelligent each year.
I know, man. I felt like being like, I felt like when I was more younger, like I feel like I knew like certain stuff. I feel like now like I get like asked questions, like my mind goes blank. Like I'm more like prone to just like my mind just like not processing things like.
Yeah.
But you know, that's actually still kind of smart, you know, because you're not like you're not saying something and being absolutely incorrect. You're like giving yourself time to just like when people just ask you questions and you just stand there and look at them. It's like you're not wrong. You're not right either, you know, but you're just not wrong. Yeah. So it works.
I think it's like one thing you know definitely that I learned, and even now like I'm learning all the time as I get older. It's just like just a bit of humility and just know that you know. You don't know shit. Do you know what I mean? And like the more I realize that, I think the better I'm getting. You know, at being open to realizing I don't know anything. You know, and it helps you. I don't know. It's helping me out anyway.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real. You know, like we were talking about Adam. We were talking about like being as far as like how long have you been doing music? Because I know you do other work, but like how long have you been like producing?
Yeah.
Like,
so it's kind of weird because I've been like on and off for a long time. I mean, I probably first started making beats like hip hop beats when I was, probably about 20, 21.
Okay.
And then I came away from it for a bit actually, like because it was because of the company I was in at the time, and there was a bit of like a beat scene over here, and because of the people that I was like spending time with, you know, there was a guy I was hanging out with that was a producer at the time. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I had access to, you know, a studio and stuff, so I was able to do it. And then I kind of came away from it, and I actually came away from like kind of beat music as well for a while. I started getting into more like band stuff, and I played in bands for. Yeah, I did that. I had my, you know, rebellious sort of metal phase later on. Yeah, so I did that whole thing, but I probably got back into it like seriously, maybe about 6-7 years ago.
Okay, cool.
And you've been like strictly hip hop production since?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I kind of I like to try different stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I like to sort of venture out where I can, and I mean lately I've been doing a lot more kind of guitar-based stuff.
I was about to say.
And it's probably been like quite. I made something the other day, and I was like, "Man, it sounds like the Beach Boys. What am I doing?"
No, you asked me. Yeah, I remember you had sent me something. You're like, "Yo, I think you had released it," and you like, you know, you were saying it was something different, and I was vibing with it. You know what I mean? Of course, it was different from your other stuff, but like, I just felt like, you know, it was cool to see you doing something different as far as like with the guitar, and like it just sounded different, but it sounded dope. You know what I mean? It sounded like you.
I appreciate that. Well, it's scary, right? Because you know, obviously you're comfortable with what you know, and if people like what you do as well, you kind of want to keep that momentum going. So you want to carry on putting out stuff that you know people are going to. So then when you make that jump into going, right, do you know what? I'm just going to throw this out there and I'm going to do something a bit different. It's a bit scary because you don't want to kind of alienate the people that are into your current stuff.
Yeah, that been with you the whole
You know?
Yeah, something I was telling Malik the other day when we did the other podcast, was that sometimes when you grow as an artist, that the people who appreciate the things that you've already done, because they're not with you every step of the way of your growth and your process, that they're always going to be left behind a little bit, you know, and they just need to catch up with it, you know, because again, like we, as we create, like, you know, we get inspired, and that's us ingesting like the energy and the vibes that we need to make stuff, and then we digest what we create, you know, and so people, in a way, they're kind of eating our, you know, they're kind of eating up our shit, but it's kind of like when you start producing newer shit, it's like, man, I like the flavor of your old shit that you were making, and it's kind of like, well, you just gotta like, they just gotta grow, you know. And I'm pretty sure you've experienced it yourself, where like you hear some shit from like an artist, you know, you hear some new shit, and you're like, man, I actually like really like the last one, you know, their last release much better, and then after some time, you're like, oh, actually, the newer stuff was much better, and you know, much more progressive than the last thing they released. You just gotta catch up with it, you know.
That's true, actually. I've not kind of thought about it like that. I've definitely been guilty of that as well. Like when you, like you say, you're comfortable with a certain artist, but at the same time, you don't necessarily consciously think you want the same thing again and again, but you kind of do. Like when you get that new record or whatever, you throw it on, and think, oh man, like this sounds really different, and then you need, like you say, that time to digest it. But for me, it's the time cycle as well, because like I put out. When I put out my last album, which was, oh man, I can't remember now. I think it was towards the end of last year. Yeah. And you know, and people were like, okay, so that's obviously the tip that he's on right now. But I mean, that had probably been pretty much written best part of a year before. So that was where I was at like a year ago. But at the point that it was released, the stuff I was making at the time was like really different. So it's kind of weird. Like people are just digesting the stuff that you've just put out, but actually I was on a whole different, you know, vibe at the time.
Yeah, like that's a good point. Like I've when I was with Kendrick Lamar's album, like when that out, I think it was some interview they were talking about it, but like they were saying like with, you know, like they're making the music, but like while they're making the music, they listen to it so much, and like, you know, you have to make sure everything is like crispy and whatever, like they're really, you know, vibing with it. But like you said, like you didn't release that project until like way after, and you were, but in that period you were always making something different. So I like, now I'm like thinking of it differently. Like even for my project that I have now, that I pretty much finished, you know, I'm just having Kel do like the artwork, which I usually get him to, you know, do it, the graphic designs and stuff for it. But you know, I feel like now, like I'm already thinking of something else. I have my project finished and stuff like that, but like, and I might even add more stuff to it, but like I'm already thinking ahead to like something just different, you know what I mean, all the way different. So it's funny, yeah, like when you put it out, it's like you know, they're getting what you were feeling at that certain period, but they're almost late in a sense, you know, like you're like so far ahead, but they're trying to catch up, you know, with each release that you put out. So
yeah, man. Do you Malik, do you listen to your own music like after you put it out?
What I do is, I've said this a lot of times, I listen to my music so much when I'm making it. Like I'm my biggest critic, you know, like I really like I have to make sure it's that I somewhat that I like it to a certain extent, you know, because what I'll do is sometimes I'll make songs and like I'll be like, oh, I like it, but I'll like stall on releasing it, and I'll have like this, you know, a dope track that like a lot of people probably will like, but I just keep it so long and I'll just put it out like almost like months and months later. But like I almost don't listen to myself after I put it out. Like I put out my last song, the Coloritos one, I listened to that like so much before I put it out, you know, almost I get not sick of it, but I've heard it so much on my own just because I've been vibing to it, that like I want other people to like, you know what I mean, I want to hear other people's opinions on it. Like I want to hear what other people think about it, and just like I kind of gain more from that, you know, just hearing like other people's what they think about it, how they feel, how does it make them feel, like, you know, what they think of listening to it.
Yeah, you've moved on from it by then.
Huh?
You've moved on from it by then. Like
Yeah. So even songs itself, you know,
and even being able to like complete something and then move on, you know, like it's to me, moving on is the reward from completing, you know. Like sometimes like currently I'm in a state of like I'm trying something new where I'm allowing myself to jump around from project to project and allowing myself to like do maybe 10 things at once, and I'm realizing that it's probably not my most productive state of being, you know. So it's kind of like I do need to kind of revert back to, okay, stay here, stay planet, get the work done, and then reward yourself with moving on to something completely different, you know?
Yeah. I need to do more of that, actually. I mean, I'm terrible. Like, I've got the attention span of a 2-year-old. So it's like I'll be working on something, and it's going fine, but then I'll get like another little idea, and I'll jump to like this other thing, and next thing you know, I've got like 10, 20 different projects going on at once, and I don't finish any of them. Do you know what I mean? And actually, you're right. It's having that kind of discipline to say, no, I'm going to finish this, and then, like you say, the reward of kind of moving on from it. But I hate releasing music though. I mean, I love making it, but I find the act of like putting it out there really stressful.
Oh yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah.
That kind of anxiety, because like you say, you've been working on it and mixing it, and you've listened to it 1,000 times in your head. So it kind of almost doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just this kind of wall of noise, and then you throw it out there into the world, and it's like, and I just find that I get so much anxiety over it and I know it's bad because it shouldn't be about is everyone going to love it or are people going to like it, but ultimately, if we're for me, if I'm being honest with myself, I want people to like it. I want it to be well received. So it's that kind of anxiety of letting go. I find that really tough.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting better at it. I'm trying to work at that.
Yeah, I'm still like, I feel like sometimes at some points I'm like, oh yeah, I've got it, like, I got it down pack, I'll just release it, and then sometimes I'm just like, I make different like tracks that like they're all different from each other in a way. So like my anxiety comes from like choosing which one to release. So it's like, are people gonna want to feel like happy, or they want to feel like they want something gritty, or they want something that's like, and it's just like, damn, like I like all of them, but it's like I don't know which one to like. You know what I mean? It's just like, which one do I choose? Like, that's where I get like caught up sometimes.
Yeah, and because the thing is as well, like if you had a certain track like that does well, unexpectedly or whatever, and particularly gets picked up and people like it, you think, oh, I want to keep this momentum going.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard, like make switching directions or whatever, like we were saying earlier. I definitely get that as well. I find that really tough. I've learned actually now, like when I put something out, say I drop a new track on SoundCloud or something, I just won't log in for like 3 days. I just just keep away from it. Because otherwise, because what I was doing is I was checking in every half hour or so, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna have 1,000 plays in the first 20 minutes. Shit, 3 people have listened to it, and not one of them liked it.
Yeah, that's fucking like your heart. Yeah, that part. I need to start doing that. Like I've like not just like or just like not log like not even going to the site for just like however long. You know what I mean? Like just I need to start doing that because I'll check like every like 10-15 minutes. Like I'm just like okay, it's one like all right, it's one view. All right, let's see how many I can get in like you know what I mean. I'm always like I go crazy over there. Like I almost like obsessive, but like, I need to like.
No. I'm the same, and you listen, and you can see you're like, well, so and so's listened to it. I can't believe he hasn't commented. Right, that's it. He's getting to me now. But yeah, you just need to kind of step away, just let it breathe, let it just exist out there in the ether for a bit and do its thing, and then come back to it. And but the problem is as well, and I do this every time. Like I'll spend forever mixing the track or whatever, and I put it out, and then the next day I'll listen to it, and I'm like, fuck, that snare's just slightly off. You know what I mean? And I'm like, or I don't know, there's like a cymbal crash in the background that's got way too much reverb on it, and I want to go back and just scrap and start again. So I struggle with that letting go process,
Yeah. And that's why, like, yeah. What are you gonna say? Oh, are you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I think we're all the same. Everybody I speak to that makes music is the same. It's that letting go process that's the hardest sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, I have, maybe I'll send Kels, like, a snippet or a demo or something, or I have, like, some people that but I hardly do it. Like, I even, like, giving, like, a snippet to somebody or, like, a demo or something. Like, I'm, like, even, like, stingy with that sometimes. I don't know, I like the feeling of, like, hearing it for the first time. You know what I mean? That's why, like, just that feeling of hearing it, like, that first track, just, like, for the very first time and listening to it over again. Like, like Kel was telling me, he's heard my take, because he's on the artwork, and I like to let him get a feel for it, and then, like, what he creates from that, what transpires, like, the cover of the art and everything. But, like, Kel, you were telling me, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, you were telling me that like like when I was playing you the samples, like I was playing you like the original tracks, and like I was saying, I was trying to quiz you on like which track from the album was. You couldn't figure it out, but then you heard the track, you was like, oh snap, and then you was like, you know what I mean? So I kind of brought you back into it a little bit more, and I thought that was cool. You know, I like doing that. Just
So if you're so Kyle, if you're working on the like art then, and you'll listen to the project while you're doing it, and that will influence how the artwork comes out. Like, what's the process with that?
Yeah. So normally, he'll give me the tracks, and for the Brazil beat tape, he just I kind of just went based on a feeling, you know, like it came out exactly how I saw it in my head, you know, like I think you guys have a reversal effect where you see something visually and you kind of create something in the realm of audio for it, you know, and I have absolutely no idea how you could do that, you know, but for me it's kind of like I hear these this audio, and it's like it automatically like converts into like imagery, and so I get a range of images and a range of feelings, and it's just about me choosing which exactly which one that I want to represent, because again, like even before I even like came up exactly with the concept of like the different parrots and the birds, I probably had about like 20 or 30 different ideas, you know, but I just kind of I went with the one that I felt was the strongest representation of it. So yeah, it was for me just a very like internal just instinctual thing going on. But one thing I wanted to point out to you both is this book. It's called Art and Fear: Observations on the Perils and Rewards of Art Making. It's by David Bayless and Ted Orland, and it pretty much covers and addresses every single thing that you as a creative will deal with when it comes to things that may be inhibitors, you know, even with inhibitors as far as like creation, inhibitors as far as like completion, inhibitors as far as like covering like releasing your work and reception. Like it's pretty much a book that like, and it's not a long read, and it's not like something that you have to read from front to back, you know. It's just kind of like when you're in a moment where it's like, oh shit, like I don't feel like I can make something right now because this is giving me anxiety. This one thing, this one thought, this one concept of something that's giving me anxiety. You can just jump to that chapter, and it's very reassuring to know that like you're not the only one going through this, and there is a logical solution to
that's interesting
to process, you know.
Yeah.
It's strange as well because I think like I've had this conversation with friends before, you know, like that say don't make music or whatever, and I'll be like, you know, stressed out over a project or over a track, and I'm like, yeah, I can't sleep because I'm working on this thing that I'm trying to finish, and they're like, that just kind of sounds like not fun. Like it sounds like a lot of work. Like, why are you doing it then? You know, if it's giving you some sort of stress, and it's hard to explain because sometimes. Well, for me anyway, there is a difference between that kind of that laid-back approach where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write something today, and I'll, you know, knock a sort of a simple beat together, and it's cool and I'm happy. Yeah. And then those other times where it's actually like a compulsion, you know, like I really need to, I don't know, get something out. Yeah. And then when you want to do it and you can't because you get, you know, a bit of writer's block or whatever. The frustration is something that you can't. It's hard to explain to. So I don't want to try and sound like a troubled artist here. Do you know what I mean?
Man. I go through the same thing. Like even now, like I haven't made any type of new music like in the past week or almost 2 in a while. Cause I've been doing the podcast thing. This is another form of me to being able to, you know, create and stuff like that. That's why I'm glad to be able to do this. But like as far as musically, like I never let, like sometimes I'll like. Yeah, if I do get in that block of like creation, I'll try to attack it. Like I'm like so like anxious to like I'm like wait I can't create nothing, or I'm like wait I can't like sometimes I can't like make something that's like dope. And I'm like all right, I gotta like fix this and like just go into it. But like sometimes I'll be like all right, let me calm down and that's why that's why whenever on the podcast, me and Kimmy and Kel, when we talk about like films and stuff like that, that's why I watch films. That's why I sit down, I do something else. I watch like a show. I watch something that like takes my mind away from that to be able to like give me another form of inspiration. That's why I love like yesterday I watched like Dawn of the Dead, like the 2004 version, and it was like random, but like that's one of my favorite movies as far as like remakes or whatever. Like I just watching it and stuff like that, and even that gave me like a different like, I don't know. It's like you say, you don't understand how like I can you can watch something and like create it, I guess musically, but like it gives me another like just perspective on things in a weird way, so like having like a block of like creation, it's like I almost not enjoy it, but I'm like, you know what, I'm having that block, but like I know I'm gonna get over it somehow. Like that's my goal, is to get over that block, and to like, because I know once I get over it, then I'll be in my zone to be like, I'll have that momentum to create more, and that's the excitement, that's the adrenaline almost that I get. Like, like I make something that's like dope, like out of nowhere, and I'm like rocking with it, like I'm like bumping it, and like I'm like blasting it in my room, and I'm like jamming, and I'm just like going crazy about it, because it's like out of like all the other 10 non-dope beats, I make this one tight one. It's like, like, what I mean, I get excited.
And that's the drug, right? Like that's the drug. That's when because when you're like when it's all, you're in the zone. Do you know what I mean? And something starts coming together, and you just, like you say, you're just jumping around your room because you're like, something's happening. There's an energy together. I'm kind of the same. Like when I'm in a writing zone, I don't listen to any music. Like I kind of want to stay away from it, because it can almost like an adverse effect. I can listen to something that might inspire me in the process, but at the same time, I might listen to something that's so good that I'm like, oh my god, this is so much better than anything that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like you just go, why did I listen to Dilla on my day off? It was just done. So I tend to try and separate. I'm really similar to you actually in that respect. Like when I step away, I'll just like throw myself into just binge watching movies or a box set.
Yeah, something to take your mind away from just like the whole like it's needed, or just doing something totally different. Like, even if it's like going somewhere, like or just, I don't know, looking at the sun, or just something like. It just
you need to step away. You need to know when to step away.
Yeah.
What's interesting is like, because I know we're all music lovers, so it's kind of like with you two being the music makers, it's kind of like almost a requirement to just listen to music at some point, even if you aren't making it, And again, like you said, that can be very counterproductive to your own production itself. Like with me as a comic artist, and like I animate, like I practically never look at comic books right now. Like
compared to when you remember when I was younger, and I would see you like collecting books. Like you used to have
I mean that was just like I'm realizing that was just compulsive behavior. Like that wasn't even like, it wasn't healthy. It's not healthy to just overly consume like anything, And I just to just buy books, and just like not even get a chance to like to fully absorb like what I was bringing in, So like my comic collection is dropped like a lot in it. But the only time I open a comic book is like, oh yeah, I remember how so and so drew these trees. Let me just take a peek at it and see if that's something similar to what I want to do. I'll look in the book. I'll be like, all right, okay, it works. It kind of, maybe it doesn't. I'll close the book, and then I'll have like the internal image in my head of like, when you're trying to remember something, you create your own version of it. So unless it's just like, and again, that only happens for me with visual stuff. When it comes to like music, man, I hear it pretty clearly, in my head itself. But so when I'm like drawing, it's like, okay, like I can't remember how the trees were. I'll open up a technical book and maybe combine the two, so it'll be something completely different, And it's funny when people can look at my stuff and they say they can see hints of this and they can see hints of that, and it's pretty honest in there, that kind of thing.
I guess you're stripping away that outside influence that's gonna. I mean, I'm definitely the same with music as well. Like if I spend, a whole week listening to, I said Dilla earlier, or Flying Lotus or something like that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, when I then sit down to write something, I'm going to start to try and replicate that in some way. And obviously, I'm not going to do as good a job because it's not coming from me. I'm trying to emulate something else or replicate. Right. So it's, I think it is healthy to like separate the two, but it's. but at the same time, it can go in your favour. I have had times where I've listened to certain type of music and it's gone, oh shit, yeah, I want to write something. Do you know what I mean? This is gonna be fucked up. And I've gone and written something that's all right. And then you have the adverse effect, like last summer. I listened to the new Radiohead album, and I was like, "This is it. I'm never making music ever again. No point. This is just because my best song is still a million miles away from their worst ever song. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of
looking at it in that perspective.
It's a twofold effect, but that's the
Man, that's interesting, man.
You were saying, by the way, Malik, about the was it Dawn of the Dead? You were saying?
Yeah, I watched that yesterday, and I was telling Kale that I watched a show called Snowfall randomly. Yesterday was pretty dope. The cinematography was dope, which I liked about it. But yeah, I watched Dawn of the Dead yesterday, and The Gray another day, and just going back and like to films that like I had watched before, but like I like looking at them with a different eye. You know what I mean? Just catching certain stuff. You know.
The Gray, that's the Liam Neeson one, right?
Yeah, with the wolves. And
that film was harsh. Man. That was brutal.
Yeah.
I love the ending. Do you know what I mean? The final kind of.
Oh yeah, he was like facing off, and he was like knuckling up. He had like broke the glass on his knuckles, the knife duct tape to his hand. Yeah, that was dope. Like I like.
I was laughing. I was listening to you guys talking before, and you were talking about. I think you were talking about The Mist.
Oh yeah.
That I don't want to tread over old ground because I know you guys have covered it, but the ending of that film just slayed me. Like, what the hell? That is the bleakest thing I think I've ever seen. I just came away from it thinking, I don't think I'm ever going to be happy again.
Damn. You know what's funny? What's funny is when I saw that movie, I was like younger. I was like maybe like I'm 21 now. I was like, when did that movie come out? Like 2007 or around that time? It was a while ago. I remember seeing it in theaters, and I didn't have like any type of like. I was like, oh, he killed them. Like at that time it was like, damn, he killed his family. That's.
But you know what? When you're a parent, it's like different. You know?
I was just like, oh, that's messed up. Like
when you're a parent, it's kind of like, oh man, like you put yourself in that person's shoes, and you're like, really? I guess I gotta kill my kid. That's really fucked up to have to live with, you know? But
yeah, you guys are parents, so that's totally like you have a like. You know what I mean? Like, you have a totally different view, too, on that. Just, like, having kids and, like, you know what I mean? With that whole ending and, like how it just, like... And watching it again, I was like, damn, that was fucked up. Like, I was like, damn, that was messed up. You know what I mean? Like,
it definitely changed. You know, well, Kale, if you've got kids, then, you know, you're in the same boat. And it changes how you view stuff, doesn't it? It changes how you watch stuff. Like, I love... it's kind of a guilty pleasure. I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or not, but, like, Walking Dead. And
it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, it is guilty pleasure. Yeah, it's got worse as well.
I'm so bad.
I'm aware that it's got worse, but I'm invested now. Like I've been watching.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to turn away.
Years of my life, you know, I can't walk away now. But yeah, as a parent, it's such a stressful show to watch. But yeah.
Yeah, freaking like what's a film that you recently like watched that you like enjoy, like as far as like, you know, like one of your top films or that you can go back to and like kind of revisit, you know?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've watched a few deep, like good films lately, because you know you go through a run where you just feel like you just watch a lot of bad movies. And
yeah.
I've watched some good stuff lately. So I think the last film I watched was Logan. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not like the comic book hero, superhero movies thing. I feel a bit jaded with it all now. Like I liked it at first, but I'm a bit kind of strung out on those. And I think that I don't know where you guys stand on that, but you know,
I think Kale's the same way.
I'm exactly the same way. Like again, I don't read comics. I don't keep up with storylines, and I'm not into the films. Yeah,
Uh,
but
yeah,
I'm a comic artist.
yeah. Well, that's the because I grew up. You know, that must be weird for you. I mean, I grew up loving comic books. You know, me and my brother, who's sitting here with me now, actually. So we used to like love, you know, the classic comic book characters and stuff. And
Right.
so, you know, when this all started happening and they were making all the Batman movies and the Iron Man stuff, it was exciting. And now there's only so much I can watch of just CGI people smashing for hours. But
At
I
all
thought,
time high.
yeah, excuse me. I thought that Logan did a bit of a fresh take on it. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite, you know, the way they did it. You know, it brought it into the real world kind of thing. And he's like this creaky old guy when the blades come out. You can see it physically hurts him because of his arthritis and shit. Yeah, oh, that's a pretty cool like take on it. But I actually watched a foreign, I think it was Korean horror movie called The Wailing.
The Wailing. Oh man, you
I
know
never heard
what?
that.
I
I know Train to Busan, but not the Wailing.
I
Yeah, Busan was brilliant as well. That was great. That was a great.
I started watching The Wailing and I didn't get to finish it, and I need to pick back up on it. Yeah, it was like.
What's the synopsis on it? Like, what's that about?
Do you know what? I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Jeez.
Well, so it's set. I guess it's like set in this little Korean village in like the mountains. I think it's like in the middle of nowhere, and this guy is like a policeman, and just weird shit starts going down in town. Like there's a couple of strange murders. They may or may not be linked to some kind of witchcraft or sacrifice or whatever. And then his daughter starts getting sick, and it all kind of obviously ties. It was a long movie. I think it was like 3 hours long, but it was really cool. Yeah.
But Korean films, they're really like they're the way they direct it. You know, was it well directed? Because you like agree that it was like you know, like the shots and was the cinematography pretty good in it?
Yeah, it was. It was well shot. It was strange though because of the lead guy. He kind of had this like strange demeanor about him to the point where I wasn't sure if it was meant to be a comedy or not. Like,
well, that's kind of how their films are. It's like a really like dark humor. So it's kind of like it's meant to be funny, but not completely, you know. But there is like I think it is kind of satirical. Yeah, it's kind of satirical in a sense.
It was like really over the top. Like his performance was really melodramatic and stuff. But it was kind of funny. But at the same time, it was scary. Like it was quite an unnerving film. It was one of those ones you come away and you just feel like a bit off, you know. like the one that killed me was the Babadook. Did you see that one?
Yeah, you saw that, right, Malik?
No, I've heard of it.
Oh my god, man!
Like, I'm as a friend, I'm telling you now, don't watch.
Now I'm like curious. Now you get me like curious about this stuff, and I'm like, all right, like.
No, it's on Netflix. The Babadook is like.
It sounds like a cartoon character.
Well, that's funny you say that because it's a bit of a cartoon character in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's all based around the book, right? It's based
it's around that book. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Don't tell them anything about it. I definitely say check it out. It's one of the better horror films that came out probably in the past 2 decades. Honestly. Wow. Yeah. I watched that one. Back when I watched that, I was actually living alone, and I had a whole house to myself. So that was like that was a bit creepy. Yeah. That was hard to. And then, you know, again, as a parent, you know, like it's one of those things where it's like super cringeworthy. It's like, oh my god, like, you know, it's just like some
yeah. Well, I was I think it's probably, if I'm honest, I think that's probably the first film that's like truly scared me for a long time, like for years. Yeah, so my brother was just adding to that, saying, "Yeah, you shit your pants, mate." But no, so I was.
Nice.
I remember I was like watching it on my sofa on my laptop, and I had to keep like minimizing the window because I just couldn't. Like, do you know what I mean? I just wanted it to be in the corner of the screen and just kind of glance. Yeah, it got me that one for some reason.
Wow, now I got to like okay.
Check out Under the Shadow on Netflix. It's like
I saw that. Is that just in? Spaced in Iraq or something.
Yeah. It's like an Iranian. I think it's like Iranian.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Yeah. Like an Iranian horror film, and that one was like it's on par with Babadook, you know? Like, that shit actually had me pretty fucked up, too. And there were parts in it where I was, again, it's like that whole, like, parent, like, child dynamic, you know? And I was just like, dude, like, it just makes you want to, like, hug your kid. And you know, like, as a parent, right, you know how sometimes, like, your kid, I don't know, how old is your kid, Adam?
I got two girls. One's 5 and one's still a baby. She's 1.
Oh, okay, nice, sweet, man. Yeah, I have a 10-year-old daughter. So, but with your 5-year-old, I'm sure you can relate. So, like, sometimes your kid is just like talking, rambling on, you know, and it's just like, okay, I can't pay attention. I'm on autopilot, you know. So, like, sometimes your kid is doing something, and you got your peripheral vision, so that's good enough, you know. And you don't always focus. They don't always have your undivided attention because it's just very exhausting. Well, after watching these films like Babadook and like Under the Shadow, like, you just want to just look at them and always pay attention and not, like, you don't want to, like, brush them off, you know, because it's kind of like, man, like, at some point, when you're not paying close enough attention to your kids, shit can really be unraveling, and you as an adult, you won't realize it till it's too late. Next thing you know, you got fucking creatures, like, in the house, you know?
Yeah, it's so, you know what, it's so true, because it's hard to explain unless, like you say, you know, you've got kids and stuff, but they will just, like, never, well, my oldest one, like, she'll never stop talking. She's always talking. And like you say, you kind of go into autopilot, and it becomes noise in the background. You go, yeah, darling, that's lovely, that sounds fantastic, yeah, that's right. And actually, sometimes, like, they really just, like, want to, I saw this thing on, you know, Louis C.K., the comedian?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was on a talk show or something, and he was talking about the fact that he's trying to get away from his phone, because he said his daughter will be, like, talking to him, and he's going, yeah, that's lovely, darling. And he's texting on his phone, or he's looking at his phone, or he's tweeting, or whatever it is. And he's like, he doesn't kind of realize that he's probably breaking her heart in the background, because she just wants to communicate and engage with him. Do you know what I mean? And that really struck with me, actually. So I always make the effort now, like, if my kids come up to me and I'm on my phone, because let's face it, we're all always on our phones. Right. I just put it to one side, you know, and just try and give them. I'm not saying that every time it works, but for the most part, just try and give them that undivided attention, you know.
It's you know, that's crazy. Like, I was talking about this. I think we talked about, like, Kale, like, about just, like, technology and stuff like that. But I was talking about this to my mom a lot too. Like, I was saying, like, how like, you know, like, with my age, you know, I'm like, I'm on my phone, you know, Twitter and everything else. But, like, it's crazy thinking about, like, how disconnected, like, just, like, cell phones, computers, like, everything, kind of, like, we're so in tune to it, you know. It's almost like, I don't know, like, I've caught myself, like, damn, I'm like on my phone, like, so much, like, checking it and just, like, checking, like, random stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just, like, checking just to look and just, like, scrolling and doing other stuff. And it's like, it's crazy how like, over time, like, the internet itself is just, like, so, like, it takes you away from everything else, you know what I mean? And like you said, like, you have you know,
it connects you, and it disconnects you from your, you know, the moment. It disconnects you from, like, the moment and the proximity, you know, things going on, like, in your inner circle, but it connects you to so much more. You know, like, you have access to the entire world, and it's kind of like, it's hard to compete with those two things.
It's so much connection. It's like, it's so, like, you're so in tune with everything. It's almost like it has its pros and its cons, but, like, it's like we're so in tune to, like, just everything that's happening, like, every single, you know what I mean? Like just, like, even to the point where, like, remember we went to the Black Milk Show, and I was like, sometimes I don't even, like, damn, like, I don't want to record, but, like, I want to enjoy the show, but I want to record it because I want to be, like, you know what I mean? I want to post it and, like, do all this other stuff. But it's like, you know, it's interesting thinking about that, you know, it's how much.
Well, I think, it's like Carol was saying, you know, it can just take you out of the moment, because you spend so much time, like, because I recently just, like, got rid of, or around a year ago, I just got rid of all my social media. So I'm on Facebook now, but that's mainly because, like, I've got a lot of friends overseas and family and stuff like that, so it's the best way of, like, staying in touch with them. But, like, with Instagram and stuff and Twitter and that, I remember, like, you were saying about being at a show, and I'd be sort of, you know, let's say I went out for a nice meal, or, you know, I was out with some buddies and there was a nice view or something. It was almost like the moment had less validity if I didn't post about it online and get a good picture of it, or tweet about it, or, do you know what I mean? And then you're sort of trying to get, you know, you're waiting for the likes to come in, and, you know, to make you get that little dopamine hit or whatever it does.
Yeah.
And I just kind of realised, actually, this is crazy because it's taking me out of the moment. I'm not enjoying things just for what they are. And it's kind of tough, but what struck me was when I came away from it, I didn't miss it, and I don't miss it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, you really don't. You know, you start finding because there are healthier ways to receive that kind of like, you know, like you said, that hit. You know, there are healthier ways to do that, and you know, I mean, you got to be a just really in tune with yourself in order to learn how to say, you know what, I need to reprogram my fucking like behavior. You know, like it's you know, and again, like it's just balancing it all. You know, because there have been times where I've completely like gone and, you know, just left social media altogether, just not posting. You know, the stuff is still there, but I don't post, I don't check, I delete the apps, you know. And then there are times where I'm like a lot more active. And at the end of the day, like, I'm realizing that it's just, as long as I don't feel like a piece of shit because I've like been on my screen too much, you know, like if I've ignored my daughter too much, like my wife is getting kind of pissed off because, you know, like I've been like texting and chatting too much because I mean, let's be honest, like the internet is the introvert's wet dream, you know, like we don't have to actually we don't have to be around people and talk to them to communicate, you know, like we can, I mean, it's we have access to everything, you know, and we can just sit on our asses and not be out in the world that fucking paralyzes with anxiety. So it's kind of like it's everything that we could possibly want in a device, but at the same time, like you both said, we just gotta live, you know. Like
I think you're right though about the balancing. Because by the way, I'm not saying that like for me it was the right thing to not be on it. And I'm not saying that's, I think for everybody, like for some people, you know, I think like you were saying about the introverts, like paradise. Because there are some people obviously that socially aren't as, you know, outgoing, or maybe, you know, just don't have that outlet. And if it gives them that, I think that's brilliant. You know, that's amazing. But I know for me, I can go that way. I can become a bit of like a hermit and just not want to leave the house and get sucked into that little world. You know, so it's kind of. Yeah, I think as long as you have that balance, then I think you're kind of okay with it. But it's but at the same time, look at all the positives. I mean, even the fact that three of us are sitting here chatting now. I mean, that's because of, you know, me and Malik like meeting on SoundCloud a while back or whatever, and like it's opened the world up, which is amazing. But at the same time, there is it can become addictive in a negative way. You know,
it's like the monkey paw. It's like you get this wish, you know, but then there's like that trick behind it, like. You know, like I wish to talk to everybody in the world. I wish to have, but then like you actually just the loneliest person in the world because you sit in a room all day.
It makes me remember that Disney movie Wall-E.
Oh yeah.
And all all the like overweight people flying around in the little floating chair, drinking like, you know, soda, and you know they're just like sucked into their little screen and stuff, and it's kind of scary because. We're probably heading there.
That's what I was telling Kel on the last podcast. Well, I don't think I split the podcast in half. I'll probably release that part later after this one. But I was saying to Kel, I was like, yeah, it feels like we're in a, like, remember I was saying it feels like a parody. Like it feels like a parody of like Twilight Zone. It's like a parody of like what Adam was saying, like Wally with the people, like, you know what I mean, like we've seen these interpretations of like, oh, this is with the future, and like, or even like Black Mirror. Like Black Mirror is like parodying it now, the stuff that's happening, like, you know what I mean. It's just like it's weird, it's funny seeing it. It's like, damn, like we really are living in like these times of like, you know what I mean, this is what it is, like this is actually happening, you know what I mean. A lot of people don't realize that because they're like, like they're not really, I don't know, like it's
self-aware.
Being aware of it. I think it's just being aware of like what's going on. A lot of people, like some people are, but it's hard. It is easy like to not be aware of like what's happening. You know what I mean? Just like get lost in everything. Get lost in the sauce.
Have you guys heard? Have you heard any of the conspiracies behind like this technology and the advancement of it, and where the human race is headed with that?
I feel like I've heard a bunch of them.
Conspiracies in what sense?
like conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, you know, and he's talking about like he's talking about like how the plan is to like integrate technology into like our biology, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like we become like I'm probably using this. I'm like not as much of a nerd as I used to be. So like we become cyborgs, I guess. You know?
I can I know what you're talking about. Like I mean they're already doing it as far as like little things like putting chips into like you know what I mean like little like just they're starting like they're already like doing it. You know what I mean? But it's yeah I wouldn't.
But are they microchipping people yet? I know my dog. Huey's microchip.
Huey's
dog's microchip. Yeah, he's microchip. So he's like part cyborg dog or something right now.
They can find like anywhere. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm really kind of like I think I read 1984 a bit too young, so I've always grown up with the idea that the government definitely is out to get me. They're definitely interested in what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure they're not, but I've always been convinced that they are. So like in London, like you get like a travel card, right, to get around the city called an Oyster card. So it will get you on the tubes and buses and shit like that. And you can just have one and it's not a problem. But they want you to kind of register it. So it's like, you know, and I'm always like, I'm never going to register my Oyster card. They're not going to know where I'm going. Like I'm going anywhere interesting. Right? But do you know, it's like this whole thing of, and you were saying, it's funny you were saying, Malik, about the Black Mirror thing. Like I watched an episode of it the other day actually, and it was really cool. And it was kind of, I felt like it was so close to happening. It was the one, I think it was like set in the 80s, and then it shifts. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Oh, they're like going at different time. It's the two women.
That's the one, and they meet in the bar and all that stuff. And,
yeah.
The gist of it was this kind of whole thing of, let's say somebody's been involved in a horrific accident, they're paralyzed and they can't leave their bed, so they can't obviously have a quality of life. Or what this company or this machine did was it kind of transported their consciousness into a completely real virtual reality world. And this girl she wanted to go partying in the 80s and drive fast cars and live on the beach and live out this kind of fancy life. And it was obviously pretty fantastical, but at the same time it was kind of scary because I was like, wow, I don't think we're probably too far away from something like that.
It's at this point to where like technology's moving so fast too. Like, it's another thing we talked about with, I was telling Carol, like technology's moving so fast and like we're not even, we're paying attention to it, but like we're probably not even aware of how like fast it's going. Like, cause there's so many new things coming out, and like I wouldn't be surprised if like they do something like that, where you can just like transfer your consciousness into like a virtual reality or something close to that. Even if it's not exactly that, it's like a prototype of that, and then they can, of course they improve on that, so improve on the design. So,
but I'm gonna be honest. If they can do that, I would appreciate if they can do it before I end up in a coma or in an accident, because in that way I can actually like tell my family to fucking let me go, and they can feel guilt-free about it,
Okay, so then question is then, where do you go? So they say to you, you can go anywhere. You're in your own head. We can send you anywhere. Where is it?
Oh, it'd probably be the beaches of Thailand. Like, we'd be on the beach in Thailand, and it'd be a nice, cool environment, somewhere where they can see I'm at peace. Because honestly, we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen once they pull that plug anyway. Yeah. But at least I can at least give the illusion of me having my shit together for their last memory, because that's what we do as parents. We do our best to fucking have our children see us having it together as long as we can, because eventually they start growing up and they start realizing that we're full of shit, and they start to hate us for it and everything. It's like, if I'm in a coma, it's like, okay, like, we visited him and he was at the beach in Thailand, like he's fine. And then like they pull my plug, my spirit could be floating through oblivion forever. And it could be like,
do you know what's funny? This literally reminds me of the conversations that I had when I was first smoking weed when I was 16, and I just got to college with my buddies, and you're talking about implanting consciousness and all that sort of shit. It's like I've gone right back there, man. This is well. It's funny though with the technology thing, because I went to see my grandmother the other day, and my uncle still lives at home with her. Like, he never moved out. And his whole thing is he's like a huge gamer. So he's just bought, got himself the PlayStation virtual reality thing headset.
It's the headset that you put on your head.
The VR thing, yeah. So so my grandmother's like, Kyle, how old's now? Like, she's like 70, late 70s, early 80s. So she's like 80 odd. And he goes, right, come upstairs, I want to show you something. And he puts this headset on my poor little, little grandmother's head. And she's now in a situation where 2 minutes ago, she was in the living room, she's drinking her cup of tea, because she's British, right? She's drinking a cup of tea, she's watching TV, she's in a safe place, she's got the little dog on her lap, and it's all good. Now, she's being plunged into a cage, in like a great white shark diving experience.
Oh, wow.
And it's all around her. And she completely freaked out. Like, she had like a full-on, like, almost panic attack. And she felt like she couldn't breathe. She felt like she was drowning. Wow. She's saying to my uncle, like, take the fucking thing off. I mean, in hindsight, it's hilarious, because he obviously was complete. Because he could have put her in any experience, but he put her in a shark cage.
Oh god, yeah.
Crazy. I've seen like mad videos of that, like people like on the floor, like freaking out, like on a roller coaster or something like that. Like they just like fall out. They just like, because it's so like. Yeah, especially if you're not like used to, like, like you said, she's like 80 something. So the technology, we're used to it, and even people that's used to it, like, they still freak out. But like, so like her like being thrown in that is like it's like some like horrible like
Oh, you know what? That's exactly what they did on fucking Black Mirror. That one episode when the guy
the guy was in the army.
No, not the army.
Oh no. The he could rewind like.
No, not even that one. The episode where he was put into a horror simulation. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Did you see that one, Adam?
Yeah, was that with the spider?
Yeah, playtest.
Yep, with the spider. Yep.
That was so fucked up.
that was probably one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Yeah, that
because it kept going in so deep and so much deeper, and then like it was just like, whoa, this was fucking that one was nice.
That ending was crazy. Like, I was like,
the ending was I'm not sure I fully understood the ending. Was it like the fact that he had died in like a millisecond and all of it was a simulation? It was really weird. I couldn't wrap my head around it at the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He died in a millisecond. Yeah. But for him, it felt like I don't know, an hour at least, an hour-long episode.
Yeah. No, that show is insane. Like, there's I've just finished watching a show called The Leftovers. Have you seen that?
The Leftovers. Yep. Yeah, I was telling Kel. No, I was telling Kel. I was actually telling Kel. I don't know if you watched it, the first season yet, Kel. Remember, I was telling you that like the first season it's not. I wouldn't say it's not easy to like get through, but like when I first watched the first season, from my experience, I was like, I almost actually quit the show, but I kept on with it. I told Kel that I kept on with it, and like it's actually one of my favorite shows, like of just like that second season, third season. It's like that. I always tell people when I mention, I'm like, get to the first season, like those first episodes. There's going to be a point where it'll switch, and you'll get hooked onto it. It's different for everyone, but like for me, it was that one episode that really like switched my mind. I was hooked on it at that point. But like, what was your point, Adam, that you were going to say about it?
No, that was it. It was just kind of the it's one of those shows where I feel like I've just been driving all my friends crazy about it. I'm like, have you seen it yet? See it? You got to go and watch the show. You got to see it. And the few people that I got to actually watch it were like, what the hell are you on? Like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And it's a strange show. I mean, and it's because it's really high concept as well, isn't it? Right. So like and it's the dude. I think it's the same dude that wrote Lost, isn't it?
Yeah. I found that out later.
Oh wow.
So it's one of those shows where I think that those kind of high concept things, and I put kind of Walking Dead in this bracket as well. Like. Is very different, but it's going to be almost impossible for Walking Dead to have like a satisfying finish. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how do you've gone so far with it now. And The Leftovers was one of those things. I thought, this is such a high concept storyline, like how are you going to possibly end it? And actually I think they did it really well. And I just finished, have you Malik, have you finished the latest season? Because it's done now. Yeah.
Yeah, I finished it when after it came out. I watched it like a day after it came out, and I finished it. And I was actually I was pleased with it. I was like they
Oh,
actually and what they could have did. I'm surprised that they ended in the third season because if they were like another company, they could have like ran it for like however many more seasons, But they actually
yeah.
they did that really well. You know what I mean? How they wrapped it up and like how they just the way because it could have went either way. It could have been like an ending where it was just like bad and it's like oh whatever the show was so good and ended, but they actually wrapped it up really impressively.
I think there's a lot of stuff like that where they like. Did you that Stranger Things Netflix
Mm-hmm.
show? Did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched that. Did you watch that, Kel? You watched it. You
Yeah, I watched season one.
Yeah,
Yeah, can't wait for season two. Actually,
Yeah.
See, I was going to. So controversial viewpoint on that. I think they should have left it.
Yeah, they should have.
Like it was fine. Like it ended fine. I think it became way more successful than. I get the impression that it was more successful than anyone had expected. And they were like, "Oh shit, we better make a second series because there's money to be made, and ultimately that's what it's all about." But I think it's one of those shows where I just wish they went. No, do you know what we're done? Like because it just wrapped everything up fairly nicely, in a neat bow. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm it had a like I mean success from it. They were like, yo, yeah, we gotta make another. But yeah, they could have just like left it at that first season. I mean, I think it's a thing of this like.